So for years, people wouldn't buy that many trees, and this was the case in general, I think. People sold trees, but the more established nurseries were selling most of them. And then in 2015 or 16, something changed. And all of a sudden, people became interested in buying mango trees.
No way.
And so
2015, 2016.
Correct, yes.
What was that?
I don't know.
Some sort of awakening.
I'm not sure. But something happened where all of a sudden there was a revival in interest, serious interest. Like before it was like nonsense. People would be like, oh, I want to buy trees. And then they would never come and buy them. But all of a sudden there was elevating interest for some reason around that time.
And you started to sell trees at that time.
I started to sell trees. But at that time, if I wanted to sell trees, I had to obtain them all wholesale. And you only had a couple options. And you still only have a couple options to this day.
That's right.
So like I had to get them from Zill High Performance Plants or Pine Island Nursery. And Zill High Performance Plants was a lot closer to me. And they had better selection anyway. So I would get trees from the Zill Nursery. And I would, who I already had a relationship with anyway, because I'd bought a lot of trees from the Zill Nursery when I was starting my farm initially. But
putting them in the ground.
Putting them in the ground and, trying to sell them too initially that first year.
Yeah.
So that went on for a few years where we saw this increasing interest in trees, and it was really starting to shoot up in 2019. So everyone thinks that the tree market skyrocketing was because of COVID. It started well before COVID.
Interesting.
And we saw it coming. And then COVID just sent it on another level.
What do you mean you saw it coming?
I saw what was going to happen because there was a bottleneck, if you will, in the market for mango trees, or rather the production of mango trees and tropical fruit trees in general in Florida. See, there's lots of nurseries, and this continues to this day. There's lots of nurseries that sell mango trees, right?
Yeah.
All over the state of Florida, everywhere, online, whatever. The amount of nurseries that produce mango trees on scale, and I'm talking about in the thousands of trees or whatever, can be counted on one hand.
I know.
You've got Zill High Performance
You're
Plants.
talking about,
who makes
the
them?
source.
You got, now, this is in 2024. Okay, not saying there aren't other nurseries besides this list that make them, okay, but not in this kind of scale. You've got Zill High Performance Plants at the top, okay, and then you've got Pine Island now makes their own. They didn't used to before. They used to buy all their trees from Zill, ironically enough.
Right.
But now they make their own. So you got Pine Island, you've got Excalibur, you've got Lara Farms, Julian Lara, my friend that's down in Homestead, and us. And that's it. Everybody else that makes them does not make them on this scale. Now, there are people trying to get into it that I'm aware of, but not very many that can do it, capable of doing it well.
Wait. Matt Reese.
How many
Peace
is he
River
making?
Organic,
I know Matt Reese.
Hundred,
Couple hundred. Okay,
yeah.
great.
But by the way,
and good for Matt because he gets good prices for his trees, by the way, and he makes some stuff that other nurseries don't make, which is great. But what I'm talking about is like a lot. Well, when I say a lot is not what Zill makes. Zill makes 300,000 trees a year now.
Zill's a factory.
Sure.
Dude.
It's just they're like the overwhelming majority of mango trees that come out of Florida.
How many do you guys make a year?
We made about 10,000 last year, which nothing compared to Zill, but it's still like
you grafted those?
I graft some. My employees do the bulk of it now.
Right
so
on.
when I started actually producing my own trees, I had to graft them myself. And I still graft myself, but I don't have the time to churn out that many trees. And so fortunately, I have some very good employees. They're actually part-time employees who help us out in that regard. But
shout out.
Anyway, so in 2019, I'm looking at this and I'm like,
yes,
this is nuts. There's all these nurseries in California and Arizona trying to buy mango trees in Florida. And there's all these people that were, even at that time, moving to Florida wanting to plant mango trees.
By the truckload.
By the truckload.
Sending them to Texas, remember?
Yes, I remember.
They were like, yo, we don't
have
any trees. I'm like, what do you mean?
Yeah, because somebody just took a bunch of them to Phoenix. Yeah. And it was absurd. They were I'm watching these trucks leave the Zill nursery. I'm like, this isn't sustainable.
Yeah.
What's going to happen is there's going to be a shortage of these things, and it's going to happen really soon.
Brother,
well, guess what?
Because I don't think I knew you at that time. I was thinking the same thing. I was like, yo, we need mangoes.
So 1 year later, COVID happens, and boom, the market explodes, and Zill sells out of mango trees.
That's right.
And all the nurseries in Florida start selling out of mango trees.
But by the way, everybody wanted fruit trees too.
Sure.
After COVID, my phone was going off like 5 times the amount.
So
overnight.
So it was
for fruit trees.
It was amazing. We saw it too, and we saw it coming. But
at the time it wasn't. We were like, "What the hell?"
Well, everybody, so everyone else got caught like flat-footed, and I knew a year in advance by just studying what was going on that this was going to happen at some point. So we planned it, and we said we're going to start producing our own trees because it just makes sense to do it because we have all these varieties that we collected, and at that point, we had approaching 300 varieties. Now we're over that figure, and we're like, we have all these unique things. Why don't we make them for people instead of just selling what everyone else is already selling? So we did that. And we started to graft our own in 2020.
You made that decision consciously.
Yes.
Let's go.
And ever since then, we've been increasing our production, and we've, sold an enormous amount of trees, and it's become the focus of our business. It's more important than the fruit now.
Put it there. Let's go. We're in the garden.